Hello, it's Trisha Reinhardt again, the Information Services Director over at the library. And for this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the different features in the EBSCO databases when you're searching. So here is my social media teenager self-esteem search that we did earlier in a couple of the other videos. So when you're looking at your results here, you can actually hover over this little spyglass here and it will show you, pop out another window and it will show you the abstract. Now you probably already know this, but the abstract is the summary of the article. So you can open up the article and read through it and see if it's relevant to what you're working on. But you can also look at the abstract to start, and I would suggest doing that. Read the abstract, read the summary of the article. It will tell you what the article is about, and you'll know before you even open it up if it's something you're interested in, if it's something you want to use. And a lot of times with the scholarly articles that are studies, it will summarize each piece of the study, so you can actually see what the results and what the conclusion of the study is right in the abstract. Sometimes the titles can be a little misleading and you think, oh, this is really great, this is really exciting, especially when you're working on an argumentative piece where you're trying to make a point and you need good studies and statistics to back that up. So you see the title, you get excited about it, and then you read through it and you get to the conclusion and they conclude something completely opposite of what you're trying to say. So you can find that out right from the abstract, see what they concluded, and if it is in fact something that you want to use in your research, in your paper. So something else you can do, some other things you can do. So let's say you see this PDF full text here, and you open up the PDF within the databases, within the EBSCO databases here. There's a few different tools that I'm going to show you that you can do on the side that are really useful. And it appears EBSCO is running a little slow today. I'm hoping that means that first week of classes, everyone's all excited to get in and check out the databases. So here is, this is actually the PDF that I opened up before in one of the previous videos. But over here are some of the tools that you can use. And so, I mean, you can download this to your computer and save it into a folder for your project, or you can print it if you have access to a printer. Some people feel more comfortable reading the print version and making notes and highlighting than reading it on the computer screen. So there's also these tools here. So there's a little email, this little envelope here is the email tool. So when you click on that, it allows you to email the articles to yourself or to your professor if your professor has asked to look at your research. So you put your email address in here. I would highly recommend putting in a subject just so your email program doesn't think that it is spam. If it doesn't see a subject, it doesn't recognize the email address. It may go right into your junk folder, which is another thing. If you do all of this and you still don't see it in your inbox, check your junk folder and make sure that your email program hasn't marked it as junk. And then add this EP host at EPNet to your safe senders list to make sure that gets into your inbox. So this is going to send it as a PDF. It'll send a separate attachment. You can also send the citation format as well. So if you click on this, you can choose from your citation style of choice. It depends on the assignment. It depends on your field too as well. So you can choose APA and then send it to yourself, and it will send you the PDF attachment as well as the citation. However, you can also see the citation from here. So over here, this little yellow piece of paper, the cite, when you click on it, it's going to pop out the list of citation styles, and it will actually show you what the citations are supposed to look like. So here it is. And so there's every citation style you could ever dream of. But the two most popular ones that we handle are APA and MLA. So here's the APA reference here. So you could essentially just copy this and paste it into your references list at the end of your paper. There is a caveat with citation generators and citation tools. So whether you're using EBSCO Cite or Citation Machine or BibMe or any of those, none of them are 100%. There's always going to be some sort of formatting that you might have to do with the citations. So I should say you should always look to make sure that there are not any formatting issues. Because this particular reference actually looks correct, which is great. Good job, EBSCO. But a lot of times what you see is the article title. It is for APA specifically, it's supposed to be in sentence form, and it's not always in sentence form. It's in title form. So you want the first letter of the first word to be capitalized. And actually this, looking at it, again, this A should be capitalized because any letters after a colon or semicolon or dash should be capitalized. So that is a very minor change to do, but it is something you have to look out for and make sure it's still your responsibility as the researcher, as the writer, that to make sure that these citations are correct before you submit your paper. So it's certainly a really great starting point, because out of this, for if you're using APA, you only have to make one small change there, just that capital A. Some of the other citations can look a little different, more different, so you have to really understand what a citation is supposed to look like for a journal article for in this instance, and then make sure that it is in fact formatted properly. So the other one is MLA. So for MLA, it's the works cited. And then again, you want to look in your reference material in your textbook, and we have a APA style guide, MLA style guide, and make sure that it is in fact formatted correctly. And so the last thing I'll show you for over here before we move to the fun world of EBSCO folders is permalink. So right here, this little link here. So what is a permalink? You may have heard the term before, you may already know what it is, but basically it is a permanent version of a link directly to this article. So if I were to go up here in the URL bar, copy and paste this into an email and email it to you, you open up the email, you click on it, you're going to get an error message. You're not going to get the actual article. This URL is not static, it changes. So you want to make sure that if you want to email the link to yourself, or if your professor has asked you to send you a link, send them a link to the article, that you are sending them the permalink. This is the permanent link directly to the article in the databases. And it's simple. You just click on it, copy and paste it, and then this will take you right back to this page right here. So now, one really cool feature of EBSCO is EBSCO folders. And so this is a way to save your search results, your articles, into folders to make sure that you keep track of them, basically. So you may run different searches. You may say, oh, I didn't find much with this search, let me change it up a bit. And that's okay, that's the way searching works. But you don't want to say, oh, I found that perfect article 2 searches ago, but I can't remember the name of it. You want a way to save it, to make sure you can go back to it and look at it again. So a way to do that is with EBSCO folders. So you have to have an EBSCO account. This is separate from your Regis account, although you can use the same credentials if that works for you. But you need to sign in first. So if I would just started to add these to a folder right now without signing in, it's going to save it to this browser session. The minute I close out and go back in, those results are going to disappear. So you really need to be signed in so that it saves it to your account. So I'm going to go to sign in. I have an account already, so I'm going to sign into my account and show you what it looks like. I've been using it for a little while, so it's going to look a lot different than your account will look, assuming that you're using EBSCO folders for the first time. So, but if you don't have an account already, you want to create one here. So you just do create one now and you fill out the form. Use your Regis email. We always recommend that for any Regis products, any Regis sites that you have to put in an email for, use your Regis email. That's really important. But I already have an account here, and I already have my username and password saved, which is helpful until I forget my password, but that's another story. So I go to sign in, and now it's going to reload the search screen for me, but it's going to look a little different up the top. So here's my search, which is great because now I can just start adding stuff. But up here, you'll see it says sign out, and then my folder looks like it has stuff in it. And that's because I've added stuff to my folders, because I've used this account to demonstrate EBSCO folders several times. But you basically just go through and you use these little blue folders with the plus sign here, and you say, oh, this is really good, I want to look at this later, or I really want to use this. You just click on the blue folder. For your first time, it's going to add it automatically to your My folder. I have several other folders, so I get to choose which folder, and I'll show you in a minute how to add custom folders. So I'm just going to add a few of these to my teens and social media. Okay, so now I've added a few. Now I'm going to go back up the top and I'm going to click on my folder here. And now it's going to take me into my specific folders. And so here it's showing me my general folder. So when you add stuff your first time using this account, it's going to add it right into here. But now you can go down, and on the left hand side here, there's my custom. So these are custom folders. You can create a new folder, name it whatever you want, your class, your project, the title of your paper, whatever you want to use to remember where you saved these articles, whatever the best way is. And after you've added custom folders, next time when you go to add, it will pop out that window and ask you which folder you want to add it to. So I added a bunch to the teens and social media, but I can also move these. So if I say, oh, this is, these added to my folder, I now want to move these to my custom folder that I just added. You just click on them, go to move to, and move them right to your custom folder for your project that you're working on. So now I'm going to go in here and click on the articles, and then you'll see the list of articles that you have added, and it looks just like the results list. So you can get to the full text. If there were any articles that needed to be requested, you would see those here, and you'd be able to request right through here as well. But this way you can keep track of the articles that you're looking at. This is especially helpful if you're working on multiple projects or a really big research project where you need a lot of resources. It's just a good way to organize yourself. So that is it for the different features of EBSCO. Please feel free to get in touch with us if you have any questions. And I hope you stay well and stay safe, and thank you for listening.